Welcome to this video presentation of Zitelli's bilobe flap. This is a random pattern double transposition flap, often used for small size defect of the tip of the nose, dorsum or the face. Originally described in 1980 by Esser, the flap has undergone stepwise improvements in order to improve and decrease its arc of rotation from the original 180 degrees as shown on the figure on the left to 90 degrees by Zitelli as shown by the figure on the right. The flap design begins by incorporating the primary lesion in a circle. This is followed by drawing a pivot point which is located at a distance equal to the radius of the circle. Following this, two concentric circles are drawn which are at 45 degrees angle to each other, and they are also located at a distance which is equal to the radius of the primary circle. Our patient was a 71-year farmer with a pigmented lesion on the right side of the face for 13 years, progressively increasing. Is a known tobacco chewer. On examination, it was a 3.5 into 2 centimeter well-defined lesion on the right side of the face, biopsy proven nodular basal cell carcinoma. The lesion had focal areas of pigmented nodularity and on scan was a superficial lesion. The surgery begins by marking the lesion with adequate oncological margins. This is followed by drawing the pivot point at a distance which is equal to the radius of this circle as shown here. The second line is drawn at 90 degrees to the line joining the pivot point with the midpoint of the defect circle. The arc of rotation is then drawn. The two concentric circles are then drawn at 45 degree angles to each other, and they will form the donor lobes. This enables the arc of rotation to be limited to 90 to 110 degrees, and it prevents pin cushioning and formation of dog ear deformity. The surgery begins by excision of the primary lesions with adequate margins all around. The platysma is taken as the deep margin here. This is followed by ensuring adequate hemostasis. Following this, the primary lobe is incised and deepened till the platysma. It is then elevated in a subplatysmal plane and is rotated into the primary defect to ensure its adequate reach. The second lobe is incised and elevated in the subplatysmal plane in the similar fashion. This lobe is elevated here over the sternocleidomastoid muscle, preserving the greater auricular nerve and the external jugular vein. The burrow triangle that forms between the pivot point and the defect site is then excised. The first lobe is rotated into the defect site and sutured. Following this, the second lobe is rotated to cover the defect formed by the first lobe. The donor site is adequately undermined in the subplatysmal plane. The first lobe is rotated to cover the defect formed by the primary lesion, and the second lobe covers the defect formed by the first lobe. The post-operative histopathology report was suggestive of superficial basal cell carcinoma with focal nodularity, measuring 3.5 into 2.3 into 0.2 centimeters with clear margins and a depth of 2 millimeter limited to dermis with no lymphovascular perineural invasion. The post-operative follow-up was uneventful and showed good recovery and cosmesis up till 8 months. Thank you.